You don't want to just take time off. You want to actually feel off, to sit down, to close your laptop and not feel like your brain is still scanning, to be able to take a walk, to lie on the couch or go to bed without checking in one more time, and to not feel guilty that you're unavailable. But if you're being honest, even when your schedule clears, you don't feel clear. Even when you're technically resting, your nervous system stays alert. You're still thinking, you're still tracking, and you're still feeling like you're on. And not because there's a fire to put out, but because you have trained yourself to stay emotionally available to everyone and everything at all times. Now, most people won't catch it because from the outside, you look balanced, you protect your mornings, you block time off, and you still technically rest. But inside your mind is open 14 tabs deep. You say you're taking a break, but you're still holding emotional space for your clients, for your team, for decisions that didn't get made. And that's not restoration, is it? That's more like depletion hiding behind a well-managed calendar. So today I'm showing you how to close the internal loop, the one that keeps you productive on paper, but energetically unavailable to yourself, so that you can finally feel off when you are off without guilt, without mental tabs still open, and without needing to check in to prove that you're responsible. But before we start, to those of you new to my world, hello, I'm 𝗪cie𝗶𝘀𝗀, self-care strategist, founder for Extraordinary Life by Design, and creator of the Yes Reset Method, my 3-step system I use to help high-achieving women like you set up a life you don't need a vacation from so that you can grow a business and life you love with less guilt and more freedom. So if you've been doing everything right to protect your time, you're blocking off your calendar, you're saying you're offline, even taking a full day away, but deep down, you're still thinking and still checking in that you're still on. And what you really want is to unplug fully, to take a real break that actually feels like a break, and to rest without guilt, without second guessing, without leaving your brain on a leash just in case someone needs you. Stay with me, because I'm going to walk you through a shift that can help you finally close those open mental tabs so you can stop performing rest on the outside and start experiencing real restoration on the inside. So let's break it down. Specifically, I want to talk about the reason why rest never actually feels restful. And it's because you can take the day off, you can light a candle, you can put your phone on, do not disturb, closing your eyes, and still find your mind running backup systems in the background. And it's not because you don't know how to rest, it's because you've forgotten how to feel off. And that's why I want to talk to you about something I call the mental on switch, the one you forget to turn off even when the workday ends, even when you're on vacation, you're taking that much needed vacation, or that actually, let's talk about, instead of much needed vacation, how about the one you've been looking forward to, you've been excited for, the girls' trip away with your friends that you haven't seen in months, maybe even years, or that family vacation that you've been planning and had to put off several times, or have put off several times, and now the time has arrived, right? But the day ends, you're getting ready to go on this girls' trip, or getting ready to pack the car, get the kids and the family in the car for this road trip that you all have been looking forward to, but your mind is still on because your nervous system is still scanning for what you might have missed. So technically you've clocked out, but emotionally you're still on call, whether it's for clients, for group chats, for notifications of things that are going on social media, and it may be invisible expectations that you can't name, but you can feel that are there. And here's the kicker: even when no one's asking for you, you're still on standby just in case. You don't mean to stay wired all the time. It's just that you've been living in go mode for so long that your brain doesn't recognize anything else as safe. So even when you physically stop, your mind never settles. You're in the room, but you're not in the moment. You're skimming the surface of rest, not actually landing in it, right? Getting that nice, beautiful, deep, and restful sleep that you look forward to. You're mentally half available, you're half anxious, you're half bracing, like something might need your attention, and you should probably just check just to be sure, right? That's what you're thinking. That right there is the nervous system stuck in performance readiness, and it's draining you in the moments that are supposed to refill you. And here's what I want you to understand. If you feel like you're burning the candle at both ends, you're running on fumes, possibly even burning out, it's because you've never given yourself permission to actually be unavailable. Instead, believing that rest has to be earned, that your value is in how much you give, and that taking it easy is a luxury that maybe you can't afford. So, of course, when your nervous system never fully powers down, and when there's always a tab open in your brain, and there's always a part of you bracing for the next thing, that's not restoration. It doesn't leave room for it. That's depletion in disguise. And the more that you stay mentally on, the harder it becomes to feel grounded in the life that you're building, because there's no clear line between when you're working and when you are supposed to be resting, or you want to take that much needed time or that time off and just enjoy life. And that's why rest doesn't work when your nervous system is still on, right? It's still working, because even though you've been told to take more breaks and that it's good for you to reset your nervous system, to give yourself that time to reset and recharge, and even though you've heard that it's important for you to schedule self-care into your daily routine, you haven't learned how to mentally unplug so that you can actually exhale, be present in your own life, and feel restored by the time that you do take. So this isn't just about resting your body and your brain. It's actually about giving your nervous system that permission to stop anticipating, to stop scanning, and stop staying on alert. Now, if you're burning out, it's not just because your calendar is full. It's because you've been living in a constant state of emotional availability for your clients. Maybe your family members are always looking to you to be the go-to person to put up fires, to be the one that mediates. Maybe for your team, to make decisions when you know that they are perfectly capable and ready and able to, or maybe someone in your team doesn't feel supported and they're looking for answers and they're not leaning on each other. And again, that invisible pressure for you to hold it all together. So even when you're trying to rest, and even when your body slows down, your brain is still looping. Should I be doing more? Did I miss anything? What if someone needs me? So instead of resting, you take work with you on your 3-day vacation with the girls, right? Which was meant to catch up, rest and relax and just be. And instead of relaxing and enjoying yourself, you're checking your work emails, you're working on a project that could actually wait until Monday, because somewhere along the way you learned that rest stopped meaning restoration and it started meaning guilt, like you're falling behind, like you're being selfish, like something will fall apart if you're not right there to hold it all together. So you check in real quick, you answer work emails, probably that just could wait, and they know that you're on vacation, but they could wait. You might even just take a peek at your Slack, right? To see what's being, discussed with your team, thinking that, oh, that's something I can handle right now, instead of allowing them to do what you hired them to do, right? So, and every one of those tiny decisions sends your nervous system the same message, that it's not safe to fully turn off. That's why even your downtime feels exhausting, because your brain never gets the signal that it's okay to stop. So instead of enjoying being away with the girls and coming back from a restful and relaxing and fun weekend, feeling fully restored, you come back feeling like you still owe something. And that's not a schedule problem, meaning it's not about what's on your schedule that has you always mentally on. It just means you are equating rest with risk. So your brain stays alert even when your calendar says that you're off. And until you name what you're doing, you're going to keep wondering why rest, why taking that time isn't working, why you come back and you don't feel rested, why time off isn't helping, and why even a vacation doesn't feel like it's enough. Like you come back from your vacation saying, I need a vacation from my vacation, because you just never fully allowed yourself to enjoy, relax, and just be. Which brings me to my final point, which is I want to help you learn how to reset the loop so you can actually rest. So let's break this down. If part of you's been wondering why time off still feels heavy, or why even your calendar is clear, but your chest still feels tight, it's not that you need more time to rest, okay? It's just that rest hasn't felt safe. It hasn't felt like a place you're allowed to land. Because when your nervous system stays on, rest doesn't feel like relief to you. It actually feels like you're exposed to something, like you're exposing yourself to missing something, or feeling like you should still be in the doing of something. And until rest can feel like that space that you're safe to lean into, you're going to keep checking back in, even when you say that you're off. So what you need is a way to stop defaulting to on, because when your nervous system stays wired for responsiveness, when your energy is stretched across every open tab of your life, you can't just rest, right? So here's what I suggest, and it's going to sound simple, but if you want to be able to close your laptop at 2, to take a weekend off and actually feel like you've rested without your brain spiraling, your chest tightening, or the guilt creeping back in, then you're going to have to learn what it means to step away without the guilt. I know, simple, right? But those simple things seem to be the hardest. You need to learn to be able to be present without checking in to your emails, to your Slack. You need to learn to feel at peace without earning it first. And the most important thing that you need, which is most high performing women, most high achievers like us, we've never really learned this until we've learned it, until we've gone through and finally realized it. And that is how to give yourself permission, not external approval, not another strategy, but internal permission to stop the doing, to stop proving, and still feel like it's safe to take that 3-day weekend without taking work with you, without checking your Slack or your work emails, and without that quiet voice in your head whispering that you should be on just in case, right? Because until you give yourself that permission, rest is always going to feel like something you have to earn instead of something you're allowed to receive. And that's why I want to walk you through 2 core pieces of the Yes Reset method, because I believe they're going to help you step away without guilt, reset without spiraling, and restore your energy without needing to justify it. Now, these aren't productivity tweaks, they're internal boundaries that bring your nervous system back to neutral so that you can actually rest instead of just pausing with pressure. So let me show you what this could look like in real life. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, it's Friday afternoon, you've wrapped up your work week, you've sent your client updates, and you've prepped everything for Monday. And so by all accounts, you're done, right? You're done for the week. And you tell yourself you're going to unplug for the weekend, right? You're going to take this time to just rest and relax, maybe even go to the beach, read a book, just sit under your umbrella, soak up the rays, soak up the ocean breeze, just enjoying that downtime, reading your favorite book, and nothing else matters. But you brought your phone though. You didn't turn the notifications to off. So a DM comes through and you get that ping, maybe it's from Slack as an example. And so you check it, right? You check it and then you think, oh, an idea hits you and you wonder if you should just map it out real quick before you forget. Now, I'm not saying completely ignore that if that's the moment you found yourself in, but I would suggest that you just take that, write yourself a note to check back in on Monday, because this is your weekend, right? This is the time for you to rest and relax, taking time for you. So map it out on Monday, put it down in your notes, put some quick thoughts there, and then let it go. That's the moment, right? Because that's the invisible pull back in if you allow that. Because again, what's happened is you haven't really closed the loop, have you? So this is where I believe the 3-question yes filter can help you. Right then and there, when that impulse is to just do the whole thing, to map it all out, this is where you're going to pause and you're going to ask yourself, does this align with my highest priority focus for right now? Not what's urgent, not what's tempting, but what matters for right now. Because if you plan, for example, again, maybe you're at the beach, or maybe let's just go back to the girls trip. You planned the weekend away, you planned it months in advance, and your current focus is recovery, restoration, connection, and fun. Then is checking your Slack messages or answering emails or going through another brainstorm session going to allow for that, for you to be absolutely focused and present in that moment? Could you be okay that the answer might be no, that it's not going to serve you, that it's not going to serve your highest priority focus, which is that connection piece, which is that rest piece, which is recovery time for you and fun? And then you want to follow that up asking yourself, would I be saying yes from alignment or from obligation, guilt, or fear? Because let's be honest, checking that message replying to that email or brainstorming that idea isn't always about urgency. It's about emotional safety. It's about proving that you're on it or avoiding the discomfort of silence because maybe you feel uncomfortable not being in the doing. And if that yes is coming from pressure, it's going to cost you more than time because it's going to drain your peace, your energy, take up time that was meant to reset, recharge, connect with your friends, and allow you to enjoy life outside of work, right? And finally, you want to ask yourself, what would I be trading for this yes? Because with every yes, you've heard me say this before, with every yes, there is a trade. So is it going to be that your entire weekend away, where your presence with your friends is compromised? And maybe, that's your first chance that you're finally able to take a breath and actually have some fun, some quality time for you. When you run the moment, that moment that you are willing to look at your Slack or your email and understand, is it in alignment for me to do this? Is it going to help me to stay present, to connect with my friends, to have fun, and to relax? And understanding, are you going to be saying, yeah, I need to take this for a minute, go and do this? Well, is that then going to be because you're doing it because it's in alignment with what you're focusing on right now? Because I don't see how that could be possible. And or are you going to be doing it out of guilt, obligation, or fear, right? I'm just going to step away for a minute and go and do this, right? Again, it's when you run that moment through the filter, you don't just get clear on what to do, you actually get clear on what not to do and what not to carry. And that's where protecting your yes energy comes into play, because your yes energy isn't just about what you agree to on your calendar. It's about what you let in emotionally. It's about noticing that micro hesitation before you say yes, that tightening in your chest, that silent ugh in your gut before you agree to go check that Slack message. And maybe that's like, again, thinking like, oh, maybe I needed to turn my phone off. It's not just resistance, okay? It's your nervous system whispering, this isn't right for right now, right? Because your brain is thinking like, oh, I should do this. I should do this. Your body is saying, no, my chest is tight. My heart's racing. I'm like stressed now. And I'm supposed to be relaxing and having fun and enjoying connecting with my friends. The moment you learn to trust those cues, because your body gives you cues, when you learn to trust yourself, your intuition, and learning to pause and protect and preserve your energy before it spills out in every direction, that's when you're going to stop overgiving your attention, right? That's when your weekends away start to feel like space again, or just your weekends, spent with family and friends, they start to feel spacious again. That's when you can be done without scanning the room or circling back just to double check that there's nothing left to do, like nothing else has to get done, without needing to prove that you're still holding it all together. Because sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is actually to stop performing like you're still on call when no one is asking you to. That's how you reset the loop. You give yourself permission to be off, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And that permission doesn't come from a planner. It comes from a system that lets you trust yourself again, your system, your internal system. This is why my clients come to me, because we don't just talk about protecting their energy. We build the filters and boundaries that make rest feel safe enough to receive. So let me ask you this. Are you always available mentally, emotionally, energetically, even when it's supposed to be your time to rest, to recharge, or enjoy the moment? Like when you're with your family or your friends on a break or getting away for the weekend, but you're still on, even when no one's asking you to be, because they already know you put your out of office on, you've said, I am off for the weekend and everything can wait till Monday, or worse, even when you said you're off, but people don't honor it, right? Others don't honor it, and you end up managing their needs anyway. Are you nodding your head right now and you're realizing that time off hasn't actually been time off for you because some part of you keeps staying on? That's okay. I get it. Because sometimes we do that because just in case something or someone needs our attention, right? But if that doesn't shift, how much longer are you willing to live in a version of rest that doesn't actually restore you? Think about that. So if you're ready to stop carrying that pressure to be emotionally available to everyone but yourself, and you want to finally feel what it's like to step away without guilt, to rest without needing to earn it first, and to protect your energy like the asset it really is, then I'm inviting you to comment below or message me directly. You'll find my email in the About section, and let's talk about what's keeping you emotionally on, even when your out of office is on. I want to help you to be able to reset the loop so that time off doesn't just mean away from work. It actually feels like you're off and that you're getting the rest that you so desperately crave. Now, there's something I want you to remember. It doesn't always look like burnout, okay? Meaning sometimes it looks like you're staying one step ahead of every what if, even when no one's asked you to be on, right? No one's asking you to, which means you're answering emails during dinner, saying that you're off, but you're still checking in just in case, right? Or sitting poolside with your friends, smiling and chatting while your mind is running in the background through everything you didn't get done before you went on this beautiful trip away. You may be taking work with you on your 3-day girls trip to Vegas as an example, where your plans were to be poolside, soaking in the sun, relaxing and catching up with your friends. And even though from the outside looking in, your life looks like you've got it all together, that you've got balance, on the inside, you are carrying silent pressure to be available, responsive, and on. And maybe even now as you're watching this video. But that pressure to always be on isn't just a busy calendar. It's a nervous system that never got the memo that rest is safe. Because somewhere along the way, rest stopped feeling like restoration and started feeling like guilt, like falling behind, like something might break if you're not there to hold it together. Here's the truth. Let this sink in. Rest isn't just a break from your to-do list. It's a break from being emotionally available to everyone and everything but yourself. And until you give yourself that permission, you will keep taking time off that doesn't actually restore you because you're not actually off. So if today's message hit home, if you felt yourself nodding even a little, and you haven't done so already, do me a favor, hit subscribe, click on the bell for the notifications so that you stay notified and stay close for what's next. And if someone came to mind while you were watching, someone who looks like they have it all together, but always seems on even when she's off, send this her way. Because she might not call it burnout, but she still feels the cost of it every time she takes a vacation, but never really disconnects. She stays on alert the whole time and comes back even more drained than when she left. And she deserves more than that, doesn't she? And so do you. Thanks for watching today. My hope is that you walked away with a deeper understanding of why real rest doesn't have to be hard and what it actually takes to make it feel safe, not selfish. Take good care of you this week, and I'll see you next time.